subscribe to my channel.
I need you to hear this carefully. If you're watching this because there's a woman you can't stop thinking about and she doesn't seem interested and every cell in your body's screaming, "What am I doing wrong?" Pause. Because what I'm about to tell you might sting. You cannot make any woman want you, not by texting the perfect line, not by pretending to be someone you're not by pretending to be someone you're not by playing games, not by becoming colder, not by becoming louder. And yet, there is a way to become the kind of man women feel drawn to, even women who initially overlooked you. But it's not manipulation. It's not tricks. It's not performance. It's transformation. And if you stay with me, I'm going to show you something far more powerful than seduction. I'm going to show you how to shift the psychological dynamic so profoundly that desire has space to grow. Let's start with something honest. When a woman isn't interested in you, it doesn't just bruise your ego, it hits something deeper. It activates rejection wounds you may not even realize you carry. Suddenly you're analyzing every message, every delay, every facial expression. You replay conversations in your head at 2 a.m. You wonder if you said too much, too little, if you should text again, or disappear. And beneath all of that mental noise is a quiet fear. And not enough. That's the real pain, isn't it? You don't just want her to want you. You want to feel chosen, valued, seen, desired. You want proof that you matter. Take a breath with me. Because the moment you need her to validate your worth, you've already handed over your power. It's not logical. It's not fair. It's not about a checklist of qualities. It's about how someone feels in your presence. And here's the paradox that changes everything. People are drawn to those who are not trying to extract validation from them. Let me say that again. People are drawn to those who are not trying to extract validation from them. When you meet a woman and internally you're thinking, please like me, please choose me, please don't reject me, she feels it, even if you never say a word about it. Humans are exquisitely sensitive to emotional subtext. Your nervous system speaks louder than your words. If you are anxious, she feels pressure. If you are seeking approval, she feels responsibility. If you are trying to convince, she feels resistance, and attraction withers under pressure. Now I know what you might be thinking, but if I don't try, won't she just forget about me? No. There is a difference between effort and desperation, between interest and need, between confidence and control. And most men were never taught that difference. Let me tell you about a man I once worked with. He was intelligent, kind, thoughtful. But every time he met a woman he liked, he would immediately start over-functioning. He'd text first, plan everything, compliment excessively, adjust his opinions to match hers. He thought he was being attentive. But what he was really doing was abandoning himself in real time. And women sensed it, not consciously. But emotionally, he was signaling, my value depends on your response. That's not attractive. That's heavy. Now imagine a different energy you meet her. You meet her curious. You're warm, you're open, but you are also anchored. You have a life, a mission, passions, standards. You're not scanning her for approval. You're evaluating compatibility. You're observing how she makes you feel. That shift alone changes everything. Because when you stop trying to make her want you and start deciding whether she fits into your world, you become magnetic. And I want you to notice something. This isn't about arrogance. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about emotional self-sufficiency. Women are drawn to emotional strength, not dominance, not aggression. Emotional steadiness. Can you handle her disinterest without collapsing? Can you tolerate uncertainty without chasing? Can you respect her autonomy without trying to override it? That is power. Here's the truth that most dating advice will never tell you. You cannot negotiate genuine desire. You can influence perception. You can improve presentation. You can grow as a person, but you cannot force chemistry. So instead of asking, how do I make her want me? Ask, how do I become the most grounded, self-respecting version of myself? Because attraction often grows in the space where neediness dissolves. Let's talk about what actually makes a woman reconsider someone she initially wasn't interested in. It's not persistence. It's not gifts. It's not jealousy tactics. It's emotional contrast. When she expects you to chase and you don't. When she expects you to crumble and you stay calm. When she expects you to overtext and you respond thoughtfully but live your life fully. You create curiosity. Curiosity is the doorway to attraction. But this only works if it's authentic. If you're pretending to be unbothered while internally obsessing, she will feel the incongruence. So we have to go deeper. Why does her lack of interest feel so urgent to you? Is it truly about her, divesed, or is it about what she represents? Sometimes a woman who isn't interested becomes a symbol of status, of redemption, of proving you can win someone difficult, of healing an old wound from being overlooked in high school, of finally being chosen by the type of woman who once ignored you. And when that happens, you're no longer seeing her clearly. You're seeing your past. Pause. This is important. If your desire for her is fueled by proving something, she will feel like a challenge to conquer. And women don't want to be conquered. They want to feel emotionally safe. Emotional safety is profoundly attractive. When you speak, are you trying to impress or connect? When you listen, are you waiting to respond or actually absorbing her world? When she pulls back, do you panic or give space gracefully? Space is powerful. Most men sabotage attraction by not allowing it room to breathe. If she's unsure and you flood her with attention, you confirm her uncertainty. If she's distant and you double your efforts, you communicate, I don't trust myself enough to let you choose freely. But when you can say calmly, I enjoy talking with you. If you'd like to continue, I'm here. And then genuinely detach from the outcome, something shifts. Because now she feels freedom. And desire requires freedom. Let me give you something practical. When you're around her, focus less on being impressive and more on being present. Presence is rare. Most people are performing, calculating, managing impressions. If you can slow down your speech slightly, maintain steady eye contact. Smile without forcing it. Ask thoughtful follow-up questions. Share your opinions without apologizing for them. You communicate inner stability, and inner stability is deeply attractive. Now let's address something difficult. Sometimes she truly isn't interested, and no amount of self-improvement, confidence, or strategy will change that. And that's not a failure. That's compatibility. When you internalize rejection as evidence of your inadequacy, you shrink. When you internalize rejection as data, simply information about fit, you grow. There is a woman out there who will be excited by your humor, moved by your mind, calmed by your presence, intrigued by your depth. But if you're busy trying to convince someone who isn't aligned, you might miss the one who is. Here's the deeper psychology. The more emotionally independent you become, the less threatened you are by loss, and the less threatened you are by loss, the more relaxed you appear. And the more relaxed you appear, the safer others feel around you. And safety precedes desire. I want you to imagine this. You text her. She doesn't respond for hours, you spirals, checks phone repeatedly, crafts follow-up message, wonders if she's with someone else. New you notices the anxiety, but doesn't obey it. You put your phone down. You go to the gym. You work on your goals. You call a friend. You build your life. You don't withdraw in anger. You don't send passive-aggressive messages. You don't disappear to punish her. You remain steady. And rarity creates value. But let me say something that might surprise you. The goal is not to make her want you. The goal is to want yourself enough that her choice does not define you. When you walk into a room, knowing that your worth is inherent, not granted, your energy changes. Your body language opens, your voice deepens, your humor relaxes, your eye contact steadies. You are no longer performing for approval. You are expressing who you are. And expression is much the same. Expression is magnetic. Think about the men you've seen who effortlessly attract women. It's not always about looks. It's often about internal permission. They know. Shrinking themselves. They are not overextending. They are self-contained. Self-contained is self-contained. Is self-contained. Is self-contained. You build it by investing in your own life so fully that a woman becomes an addition, not the centerpiece. Develop your body not to impress her, but to respect yourself. Build your career not to signal status, but to fulfill your potential. Cultivate friendships not to appear social, but to feel supported. Explore hobbies not to seem interesting, but to actually be alive. And when you don't cling, you're easier to be drawn toward. Now let's talk about confidence. Confidence is not believing every woman will want you. Confidence is knowing you will be okay if she doesn't. Feel the difference. One is fragile. One is unshakable. If you truly want to influence attraction, strengthen your emotional regulation. When you feel rejected, instead of reacting outwardly, sit with it. Name it. This hurts. I feel insecure. I feel disappointed. When you can hold your own emotions without projecting them onto her, you become emotionally mature, and emotional maturity is rare. Sometimes a woman isn't initially interested because she senses immaturity or unpredictability or hidden need. When that changes, genuinely changes, perception can shift. But this requires patience. Real transformation is slow. And here's something important. If she senses that your calmness is a tactic to win her, it will fail. You must reach a place where you can honestly say, I desire, but I do not need you. Desire without neediness is powerful. Need without self-awareness is suffocating. Let me ask you something quietly. If she never changes her mind, who are you? Are you still valuable? Still worthy? Still whole? As a verb, still whole. If the answer feels shaky, that's where your work is. Because the woman is not the problem. The internal narrative is for you don't attract what you beg for. You attract what aligns with who you are. So become aligns, stand taller, not physically, but internally. Move deliberately. Stop over-explaining. Stop apologizing for existing. Stop trying to fill every silence. Silence is not your enemy. Sometimes when you say less, your presence says more. And if she says, I just don't see you that way, instead of trying to change her mind, try this. With cry, appreciate your honesty and mean it. That response alone separates you from 90% of men because it communicates self-respect. Ironically, when a woman feels free to reject you without retaliation or persuasion, she may feel safer reconsidering later. But even if she doesn't, you win. Because you kept your dignity. You cannot control attraction, but you can control composure, growth, standards, self-worth. And here's the final shift I want you to make. Instead of asking, how do I make her want me? Ask, what kind of man do I want to be when someone isn't interested? Do you want to be reactive or regulated? Do you want to be desperate or discerning? Do you want to chase or choose? Because when you become the kind of man who chooses carefully, who respects himself, who allows others freedom, who is emotionally steady in the face of uncertainty, something extraordinary happens. You stop needing to make women want you. And women begin wanting you, not because you forced it, not because you gained the system, but because you became safe, grounded and self-assured, and even more importantly, you became free. Free from the anxiety spiral. Free from the fear that one person's opinion defines you. That freedom is attractive. But more than that, it's peaceful. And peace, real internal peace, is something you carry into every interaction. So if she isn't interested right now, don't see it as a wall, but see it as a mirror. What is this stirring inside you? What insecurity is asking for attention? What part of you believes you must earn love by striving active? If heal that, strengthen that. Because the most powerful shift you will ever make is this. You stop trying to convince someone to see your value and you start living as though it's undeniable. And when you do, whether it's her or someone even better suited for you, you won't have to make her want you. She will feel it and so will you.